Hey, my kids are starting to look at colleges, so we go stop by any school we can see in our travels. The Action Sports Shacks team has all graduated from college, and we're not going back. We wish we could, though. We're doing a summer campus tour to check in with the athletic departments at the local universities and colleges. The bus stops at that campus over in Arlington, the home of the Jacksonville University Dolphins. Proud Hoops tradition. A football program doesn't exist anymore to turn the focus to other sports like basketball with a new facility and lacrosse. A lot of good stories of success for the JU Dolphins. Our campus tours the next 2 weekends include JU, UNF, Flagler, and EWU. We caught up with the athletic directors at each institution, a state of the state of sorts of their respective athletic departments this summer. If you're new to town or you just don't remember, here's what Jacksonville University has to offer. A decade away from being a century old now. Over 4,000 students on the shrouded campus. They reside in the Ace Sun. That's their conference with 17 athletic teams. Here's Action Sports Shacks' Marcel Robinson with JU Athletic Director Alex Ricker-Gilbert.
All right, we continue our Action Sports Jacks summer tour, and we're here with Jacksonville University Athletic Director and Senior Vice President Alex Ricker-Gilbert. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
I tell you what, I talk about this all the time. We were just talking about it. You guys are doing a fantastic job on that campus in the world of athletics, from the facilities to the athletic programs to the teams. Just tell me your, I guess, assessment of what this past year was for JU Athletics.
Yeah, I think it was a culmination of a lot of work by a lot of people, and it starts with our president, President Tim Cost, who's an alum, played baseball. JU is something he's really passionate about, and he's been hugely supportive of athletics and what we're trying to do. And so over the last few years, we've been really working to build, get the right people in place, get the right coaches in place, all sort of pull in the same direction. And I think this year was a little bit of fruit for that labor, where we had some success. And so we still have a long way to go, but we're off to a good start.
We're going to get to a little bit more of exactly what's going on campus-wide for athletics, but tell me just about those athletic performances that you guys have had. Multiple coaches of the year. You've had teams winning their conference championships. Just tell me how proud of you, and like you said, that is a testament to all the hard work.
Yeah, and I think it starts with, of course, our coaches and our student athletes. And we say all the time we want to be student athlete centered and put their experience at the forefront. Because I think right now, more than ever, student athletes are very interested in obviously playing their sport, but they want to be surrounded by people that care about them as people. Right. And that's where we started, and that's where we start when we're hiring, when we're retaining, when we're recruiting coaches to have that mindset. And I think we've had that mindset, and that has resulted in winning a lot more games, winning conference championships in several of our sports, winning Coach of the Year in several of our sports. We are our first-year basketball coach won national Coach of the Year for first-year head coaches. And so that attitude and approach to our student athletes and how much they mean to us, I think has driven a lot of this success.
It's funny because I've been around here since you were promoted to athletic director, and you've done such a tremendous job. And one thing that I love about you is that it's always been students first. And in terms of the hiring that you make, it's all about getting the right fit, and not necessarily the biggest name or the most popular guy, longest tenure, but the right fit. And you've done a great job of that. Two of your coaches that you have hired, we'll start more recently, Jordan Mincy, obviously with the JU basketball team, and then of course John Galloway with the lacrosse team. Your track record for hiring coaches is just tremendous. Just tell me about, you've been on a bit of a coaching search, and how important is it to replace someone like Mindy McCord, who's been such a staple to the athletic program, the women's lacrosse program at JU?
Yeah, Mindy, we're going to miss her, obviously. She was here from the beginning of the program, and the programs, really. She helped with both men's and women's lacrosse very early. And 14 years, and a lot of championships, a lot of Coach of the Year honors. But more than anything, she put our students first as people. And when I started speaking with our student athletes about this transition, the search, the one or two things they said right off the bat was, we want to make sure we have somebody here that cares about us as more than just lacrosse players.
Right.
As people, as students, they're going to care about what we do after school. They're going to care about, our relationships and our internships and who our family is and all of that, because Mindy was really special at that. In the initial interviews I ask very little bit about the sport. I ask about, I try to read how they care about their students. Right. And when you ask them questions outside their sport, it makes them think, and you can tell very quickly if it makes them feel uncomfortable too. And when they're uncomfortable to talk about something other than their sport, that's when you know they might not be a fit.
Funny you mentioned that, because those two questions that you just mentioned are exactly what describes Jordan Mincy, his first year here at JU, embracing Jacksonville University, coming in. He's from down the road, obviously assistant coach with Florida, from Memphis, but he came in here, and one of the first things he said was, it's important for me to get in here and start bringing back some of these JU alums that have been involved with the program. Artis Gilmore, Hall of Famer, he's right here courtside every single game. Yeah. Bring him in to talk to the guys. D. Brown, obviously, one of JU's beloved alum athletes, and it's very important for him to say, hey, look, we need to make sure that these guys can see and feel and touch these guys to see what they can aspire to, and also just bringing that culture together. And it seems like that's obviously the fruits of their labor. They were one of the best seasons that they've ever had, right?
Yeah, Jordan is a learner. Jordan wants to be collaborative and wants to involve as many people as he can, because as a young coach, I think one of the greatest traits somebody can have is be willing to learn from others. Be vulnerable enough to ask questions, to bring people from the outside in, to really involve others. And he's done that on campus, he's done that in the community, he's done that with our alums. And that takes somebody who's very mature and comfortable and confident in what they're doing. And he's been able to do that. And most noticeably, he's really taken a care to our young men, and they know that, and they feel that, and they play really hard for him because of that, and that resulted, all of that was part of what really drove this turnaround in one short year to going below 500 the last several years to winning 21 games this year.
Nice. I love it. I love to see it. And what we also love to see is just the growth of the campus in general. As you know, as athletic director, it's an arms race out here to keep up with all the university in terms of recruiting and attracting coaches to come in. You guys just built that brand new basketball facility. What else do you guys have maybe in mind for JU in terms of growth of the athletic program that will sort of move you guys to that next level?
Yeah, facilities are absolutely part of this arms race. I think, though, that they have to be complementary. Right. I think the people are who matter first, and the facilities will help you go forward, but it's not facilities first and then people. It's people, then facilities, and the other things that come along with it. And so, yeah, the basketball facility was huge for our campus, not just our student athletes, for our campus. We had basketball camps here this summer for the first time in a long time because we didn't have the space. We didn't have the court space, and this opened things up to bring the community here to see campus, to see our basketball program, to see our university, which is huge for us, not just as a basketball team and program, but as a university. And what's next? We're constantly looking at how we can elevate the student experience, whether it's doing more in our weight rooms, whether it's looking big picture at an idea around a convocation center, an arena. Those conversations are always going to be on people's minds. Whether it's more program-specific projects, video board type things, updating locker rooms, updating the training room, making sure we have all the technology, sports medicine, strength and conditioning equipment that we need to keep up with who we're competing with. And so it's a constant evaluation on what we need to do and where we are. And so we will look at that consistently, and the goal is going to be, okay, what do we need to do next to impact the most amount of student athletes on our campus, and that's going to be our focus. But what I'm proudest of is how our students And student athletes represent us. They graduate at a high clip. They go on to do great things professionally, personally, and that's been something that's always been the top goal for us, and it will continue to be.
Well, you guys have been competing. You've definitely been winning championships, and the campus looks better than ever. So I'd say you're off to a pretty good start. We appreciate you joining us for a few minutes.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
Next week, we talk Flagler and St. Augustine and EWU. The Tigers have been big movers and shakers the last couple of years, adding sports, facilities, and moving to the Division II level to join the ranks of Flagler. That's next Saturday and Sunday on Action Sports Jax Primetime.